Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Fringlish and today I'm here to ask and answer the one simple question: what is For the King? For the King is a strategic RPG that blends tabletop and roguelike elements in a challenging adventure. Developed by Iron Oak Games and published by Curve Digital in 2018, it is a fairly popular combat tabletop RPG. It was released in 2018 and they will be releasing new DLC soon, so it's a game that's definitely still active. In For the King, you venture as a party into the realm of Farul in search of honour, glory, riches, but most of the time you probably find death. So let's have a look at the game itself. First of all, we're going to have a quick look at the options. Now, you have the standard, you have a couple of game options here, where you can customise how quickly you want the game to run. Then you have the standard display presets, as well as choosing a custom resolution, windowed full screen, pretty standard. You also have the option to turn off VSync, which is nice sometimes, depends on the PC you're running. Audio controls, pretty basic, you have music and sound effects. There's no voice acting in this game, unfortunately, as that would just make it epic, but it's really good anyway. The audio is very nice to listen to in the background, it's quite calm. The controls for the game, all completely rebindable, whatever you want to do with them. That's a very nice touch, and also has controller compatibility if you want to play it to your television or something like that. Very flexible that way, and it's very nice that you can rebind it and have two different options, so whatever you're sort of comfortable with you can change it to. Finally, just a quick language option, as expected from the games. So a rather simple game and set of options. It doesn't need much, but it has what you need. Now we'll get into the game itself. Now, a key part of For the King is its roguelike element. You will unlock more things as you continue on, as you play the game. In fact, the first title screen when you log into the game says you may probably die the first time, and it's not lying. It is a complicated game, but it's not a punishing game. It isn't unfair in any way. Some days you may just end up unlucky and die, but your main advantage is experience. And if you enjoy the roguelike genre, if you enjoy trying runs and then learning the tips and tricks, this would definitely be for you. The progression mechanic in For the King is the lore store, where you can buy different locations, different characters, different items, and other mini encounters as cosmetic changes for your characters. Now, while these are powerful, they're not the most powerful in the game. While these encounters can help you, they don't help you the most. And sometimes they can even hinder you. Say if you've unlocked the encounter for the lighthouse, or you've bought the lighthouse. If this spawns right down in the bottom on a mostly land-based map, it's taking the place of another helpful location. So while this does advance you, you can win without anything. What you do is during the game you earn lore books. Here you see I have 6 lore books left, so we're going to unlock a sword, the Vadermoda. Once unlocked, now this will appear in-game. Any game, even one I've got currently running. As you can see, it's a rather powerful weapon, doing 28 damage, including different effects. We'll look into that in a scooch when we actually get into the game. Now, the main elements of this game is the online co-op. As you can see right now, a very active scene. There's probably a couple of hundred games running right now. Most of them are locked, but you can find some open games. And while playing, I have never had a problem with the servers, so that's always nice to have. But now we'll look at the new game and single player. What does it offer you? Well, for a start, there's 6 different game modes to start off with. You should probably start with For the King, but each adventure has a very different feel to it and it prioritises different elements, meaning that even a run with an identical party can feel really different. I'm not a fan of the Gold Rush, I must say. When you're fighting against your fellow teammates, you lose sort of the camaraderie aspect, and I think that's a shame, as that's one of the biggest selling points of this game. In co-op, playing with friends is infuriating and absolutely hilarious. Trying to face up against each other, I'm not a big fan of it, but it can appeal to some people. But for now, we'll just go straight into For the King. You can play solo adventure, online co-op, or local co-op, where you each take a turn to do a character. For the purpose of demonstration, we're going to look at what happens when you set up a solo adventure on Journeyman difficulty. So I won't go into the nitty-gritty of everything, as otherwise this video will probably be an hour long. But the basics are, you set up a party. In For the King, you control a party of 3 people. They can be different characters and different classes. You have a scholar, a herbalist, trapper, a minstrel, a busker, and a woodcutter, a monk, a hobo, and a blacksmith. And each one of these classes has a very different feel to it. The blacksmith, for example, is more of a fighter, more of a tank. The hunter will use ranged weapons and try and dodge. And the scholar will try and heal and buff your party. Generally, you want a combination of the 3, but instead of a scholar, you might go for a herbalist if you've already unlocked it. Or, say, instead of the hunter, you might go for a trapper or a minstrel. Having a scholar and a minstrel means you're going to be trying to probably buff from both sides, but one is a buff and debuffer status effect, and one of them is a healer. So you have a very different playstyle. When playing co-op, each of your friends will select one hero, so you play in a group of 3, and it really feels like an instant D&D party sometimes. Now I've jumped into the game. This is a save file I've already got through the basic tutorial of, just to show you a bit more of the fighting. This is a cave, and right now we have a fight on our hands. We are all level 0 against some level 1 enemies, so we're probably not in the best shape, but I'll try my best to keep us alive and fight through it. So right now we are playing Morrigan. We have many different items with different effects that can help or hinder us. Each one of our characters has 6 stats, being strength, vitality, intelligence, awareness, talent, speed, and luck. Each one affects different elements. We currently have 37 hit points. As you can see, our health bar is full. We gain XP for levels, so we're about a third of the way to level 1. We currently do 6 attack damage as a base, have 23 evasion. That means we have 23% chance to evade every hit. Have 2 resistance, which means any magic damage we take 2 less, and 2 physical resistance. And this is pretty standard for an opening rogue. As you can see here with Engleberry, we have 6 resistance for physical, meaning he's more of a tank character, and Maurice has 3 resistance for magic and only 1 for physical. So already, even though we're right at the start, we have a different playstyle with each character. It's also important to note each one has different stats. Here we can see that Morrigan has 83 awareness. That is accuracy with bows, polearms, and ability to prevent and launch an ambush. Here she's using a bow as a weapon, and we can see 3 tokens, or 3 pips, with the awareness symbol. This means she's going to use awareness. Here we have 83% chance to get each pip, and we'll do 6 physical damage. So we'll start the fight. We managed to get all of them, so we'll do 6 critical for 8. Next up we have Maurice, who can use an area blast, which is an area of effect attack, a surge, or just run away. We are going to fight here, so we can either do surge for a single target, or AoE, which we're going to try. Now, as you can see, Maurice's symbol is brains. That's because he uses intelligence to fight, or at least his weapon does. We also have pips at the top. Maurice has 6, meaning focus, which means we can guarantee our lock-in, meaning we have now 93% chance to get a perfect attack off, which we will do. Some attacks don't do any damage if you don't get perfect, while some do less if you mess up, so sometimes you may want to force a perfect. Now I need to really focus on area of effect damage here, otherwise I won't be able to fight this. But as you can see, we had an area effect, destroying the middle character, which means now, unfortunately, Engleberry won't be able to use it, because there's nobody to target in the centre. But we can hopefully just fight down the remaining enemies. There's only 1 left, so it shouldn't be too tricky. Now we're in a mini dungeon, so the combat's a little bit different, but here we can see after the combat we get some rewards. I'm putting all the money on Engleberry so he can buy things at the shop or in towns on the map, so we shall collect that. And here we have Spirit Taffy that adds 1 to magic damage. Now as we saw before, Maurice is the only one that does magic damage with his ability. It does the purple damage instead of the blue, so we are going to use this item and permanently increases attack damage by 1. As you can see here, 6 is physical, 10 is physical, they're numbers in white, and here purple is magic. Okay, somehow I made it through that dungeon. I would not recommend going for a level 1 dungeon when you're level 0, but it is possible. And here we are on the world map. This is where the meat of the game is. Each time you roll a certain amount of tokens and you need to decide where to move to. Here, for example, it is Morrigan's turn. We have a cult device, which we see that we need intelligence for. Intelligence is not something that Morrigan is renowned for, having only 51. Ideally, we want Maurice to go, because even poisoned, he has 79. So we may move somewhere else with Morrigan. Now, we are rather damaged right now, so it would be nice to heal up. All my gold is on Engleberry. However, what I will do is share some gold. And this is what most of the game is. You gather items to fight monsters, to gather items in order to fight monsters, to gather items so you can fight more monsters. You have an awful lot of emphasis on party management, making sure you get the right damage to the right people, gathering weapons, spare weapons, extra armor, status effects, different play styles. There's so much to discover, and you can play in a myriad of different ways. I've had a successful run going full rogue and stealthing the entire game, by which means I ambush everybody I come across. I've also had a lot of fun going for berserker and healers, just continuously wailing. If you like roguelike, if you like D&D, you'll like this game. So we've already seen a combat. I'll just show you what an event normally looks like. And as you can see here, it's nearly the same as combat. I have a 7% chance of success, or 26 lesser success. I have 37% chance to do damage to the party, and so on. There we go. Lower success, I gained experience, then leveled up. And I get to choose, do I use 1 chaos, minus 1 chaos, plus 1 life, minus 1 scourge. I die a lot. I'm going to take the life pool. Normally you can buy this game for £15 on Steam. However, as this video goes out, it is available on the Epic Store for free. So I urge you all, head to the Epic Store and pick up this game. Then you can play with your friends. Tell all your friends about it as well. Get them to pick it up for free. I wouldn't necessarily pay £15 for it, as it can be a bit monotonous, and if it's not for you, then you're sort of stuck with it, as you need to play it to really understand this game. But it's free now, so go and grab it. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and ring that bell down below. Until the next time, toodles.